I'm Jen,
I'm Coco.
and
This
is
Tipsy Talks with Jen and Coco. I think we nailed that.
I think we did pretty good.
Trigger warning, we do discuss death, grief, and suicide in this episode.
If you or someone you know needs help, 988 is available. You can call or text that number at any time.
24/7. Yeah. All right. What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about grief.
Grief. All right, I'm ready. Oh, wait, let me get a drink of my iced wine.
Are you going to do that on every episode?
No,
This is the third episode in a row you've referenced your iced wine.
I know, I just want people to know what that sound is and not that there's some weird peeing in the background or something. Okay, maybe I'll just go first and then you can lead into it. So, the reason I want to talk about this week is because I went home last weekend for a celebration of life for one of my friends from growing up. This person, she had cancer. She fought for 4 years and she knew she was going to die before anybody else. And just because she was like, they won't be able to help me, and they weren't, unfortunately. Anyways, she was, when I think about it, my first friend, because we moved into this house when I was 3 after my parents divorced, and their family down the street, who this daughter was a part of, was already there. So it was the first group of kids that I remember growing up with and playing with and all of that. And we hadn't spoken in 20 years. I changed high schools, and she wasn't in my grade. She was in my brother's grade, and I don't know. So I went home for the celebration of life, and I always am really emotional, but when I saw her sister, I saw her mom, and I saw her brother, and I talked to them really briefly just to tell them I was there, and then I couldn't stop crying. I could not, and it's a celebration. It's not like a funeral where there's more tears. Maybe one other girl was crying. And when I cry, I look like I cried all day long. It's just, I'm not. Yeah. So we left after 30 minutes. Just completely left and I didn't stay for any of the
service?
Yeah, nothing. And I felt really bad about it. And my husband's super supportive. It's okay. This is what you needed to do, and whatever you're comfortable with. So supportive. But I didn't understand why I was so upset. Yes, it's very heartbreaking, but why couldn't I pull it together? That just was out of character, because she died 3 months ago. I don't know. It was very weird. So then I was like, who's great at talking about these things? It's Jen. Yeah. Jen knows a lot about grief. So
I do know a lot about grief. I think that the thing that's important to first, let me just say, I am not a professional. I just am a pseudo professional just by experience, not anything else. But I think that the thing that probably hit close to you was that with the things that have come up with your health, it's different seeing a person that's your age no longer here when you're having health issues versus a grandparent or something like that. So I think that you haven't given yourself the space to not grieve in the this is super sad kind of way versus the way that we cope by making inappropriate jokes out. Things that most people are like, that's really fucked up.
You need help.
You probably shouldn't laugh at that. I think that you just haven't had the time or the space because of everything that's happened to really grieve the sadness of that. And so then when you see somebody that's not here, even if it's for a completely different reason, it's just the realism that you're now at an age where people that you grew up with are no longer here. And it's crazy to get to that point, especially when you have health issues or when, you're afraid of something like that.
Yeah, it's heightened or something. Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but
I think there's an element of that to it for sure.
Yeah. And it's just really, I was trying to think when you told me about this, what my first friend funeral was, and I don't even remember. I started experiencing grief and death when I was very young. It was just like, even when my first husband and I were married, I believe that by the time that we got divorced, there were 27 people that had died in our lives from the time that we got married until
Wow.
when we got divorced. And but like even in high school we had people that died that we went to school with. There was a kid that was standing in the bed of a truck and they were driving and he fell out and he died. And it was just, I think that's where I just started experiencing it at school. But the first, like, most impactful death, like, besides, I was fortunate to have all of my grandparents and great grandparents until my senior year of high school.
Wow.
On my dad's side of the family, my mom's grandparents had passed before I was born, but
It was pretty normal.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think probably the first one was my cousin. He took his life when he was 18. And
How old were you?
I was 20. I was over 21. Long story short, he had told us many times prior to this that he was suicidal, and we're just like, you're being stupid, just chill out, it's going to be fine. You'll get through this situation, it'll be fine. And we had gone to a party and we were drinking, and him and his fiance got into a fight and he left, and my then husband and my cousin's other cousin, we went looking for him and we found him. He had just shot himself. And then crazy thing though about that was my mom's best friend was there when we pulled up, and I don't even know why he was on that road because it was like a totally random road outside of Greeley. But anyway, so then a few weeks later, his fiance took her life.
Wow.
And so I think those are my first friend
Yeah.
deaths.
Pretty close in age.
Yeah. And because we were really close to them, not just as family, but we spent all of our time with them.
Oh, gosh. So how did you cope? Like, what was that? You're in your 20s. Did you go to therapy or anything like that?
I did so the first thing that we did is there was somebody that had worked at my school that worked for a local suicide prevention office. And so we had her come over to support the family. And I very quickly got involved by speaking at high schools all over the state. I spoke at the National Guard training days because I was able to have two different sides of the story. Like after my cousin died, we focused all of our energy on his fiance and basically put her in a bubble, and we didn't take her to get help when we should have. If we had, it may be a different outcome because she did call 911 while she was doing it because she didn't really want to die. And so that was one of the, I have such a wide, we didn't do anything for this person, but we overdid things for this person.
Yeah.
And they both had the same outcome, but what could we have done differently?
So is there just a lot of feeling blaming yourself and things like that?
I blamed myself for my cousin for a really long time because one, he was underage when we were at that party. And the rule was that if we drink together, then he was not, if I was drinking with an underage cousin, I didn't do it very often, but they had to stay with, they had to stay with us and they weren't allowed to leave.
Yeah. I think any family's like that.
And he left. And I was the last person to talk to him that night. And then also when we left the party to go look for him, I had an idea where he was based off of our conversation, but the boys didn't listen to me. They wanted to go to this other place first. And so for a while there was a lot of what if they
had you got there sooner or something.
Yeah. And then with her, what I regret is just not making her get help and just hoping that she would.
By having like family,
Yeah.
like being smushed of love.
But so I went and I spoke at all of these places doing those things. And it was good to talk about it because I knew based off of the feedback from the kids and the things that were like moving in my world at that time, that was the place that I was supposed to be. And I've firmly believed in most of my life that I've had a lot of really shitty things happen. And my belief is that they happen because I don't care about sharing my stories and I want to help people. And it's like I've been able to help so many people by doing that, that it balanced out the bad of it happening. But I did go to therapy and it was fucking awful.
That's the worst.
This lady had really big permed 80s hair.
Oh my gosh.
And she wore sweater dresses.
Oh.
And it was like at some anniversary.
Like buttons all down her back.
It was just like,
just a full sweater dress.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like an anniversary or something related, like a big day. So usually when people die in my life, I have these at the 6 month, the year, the 1.5 years. Those are typically bad days for me, probably for about 10 years after they die. Just really shitty. But so it was one of those days. And at that point, I had not cried in her office one time. And I cry at commercials. I cry
TV commercial
when people sing the national anthem.
Oh my gosh.
I cry when people get baptized. I cry all the time. And I had not cried one time, and I'm in there talking about my dead cousin and my best friend.
What does that say about her?
So I started crying on this day.
Oh.
And so she's just kicking it. Sitting there, just staring. And I was like, what?
Shaming you for crying?
No, she didn't say anything.
She's not acknowledged. Were you her first
just
crier?
Sat there, just.
I don't like that.
And so I finally was like, Are you gonna say anything? And she goes, oh, I am so sorry. I was just thinking about this goat that I saw at the fair.
Oh my god.
And I was wondering if it had its babies yet.
Oh my god. Immediate refund. Yelp probably didn't exist at this point, but give me her name and her credentials because I would love her to know how much she freaking sucks.
So I left and I did not go back.
Get up. What? You good?
Just
good for you.
But she forever shaped me in my therapy search. So I did go to another therapist who wore broom skirts and purple Crocs. Didn't matter what color the broom skirt was. Purple Crocs, same color as your headphones.
Wow.
And we sat on beanbags.
And this was like in the 2000s, right? Like not the 80s. Okay.
Yeah, it was like, first of all, it was only, I wouldn't have been able to go to therapy in the 80s.
No, the beanbags.
This was legit in the 20 teens.
Wow.
And so I stopped seeing her. And then, so
the beanbags didn't help.
No, and the clothes. So now I like have a very strict rule of what people
look like,
wear.
Okay.
My current therapist wears,
if it's some sort of dress or skirt, we're concerned.
Leggings.
Okay. Yes.
Tennis shoes. Just plain Jane. But she cusses like a sailor. And I just enjoy her.
So in your process to support grief, yourself in grief, you learned what you need in a therapist, and it is not dresses or skirts.
Yes, and also I cannot fucking stand a therapist that's like, how does that make you feel?
Oh, I had one of those for so long, and it was like, why am I here? I hate her. I hate going. You can fire your therapist and pick a different one. I did not know how shitty all my therapists were in life until I got a good one. And right now I have a good one.
Yeah.
So
Mine's pretty legit too, but I just started seeing her probably about a year ago. So for a large chunk of my life, I did not go to therapy for grief. 2 years after these people died, my mom passed away, and that wrecked me.
yeah, that would wreck anybody.
I think it still wrecks me, but the craziest thing about losing a parent is that people don't understand that literally half of who created you is no longer here, and you feel like you lost a limb.
Were you close with your mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad got divorced when I was really young, and so for a long time it was my mom, and I'm an only child with her. My dad has other kids, but we were really close. And one day I had talked to her in the morning, and she didn't say anything to me about not feeling well. And then probably around 10 o'clock in the morning, I got a call from my grandma. They were at the emergency room.
Oh my gosh.
And she had passed out in the shower, and she couldn't stop throwing up. And so my grandma went out and got her and took her to the hospital.
How did she know? Did she call her?
I think my mom called her and told her
That she like passed out in the shower.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so my grandma's, it's not very good. You need to come. So we got there, and they told me that they were going to put her in a coma, so that they had said that she had a heart attack, and that her heart was like out of rhythm. So they were going to shock her, put her in a coma, and let her body repair itself. And they started to intubate her, and she flatlined, and she didn't wake up.
Oh my gosh.
But it was fine.
It's not fine.
It wasn't fine, but the blessing that I had was that I was able to see her and talk to her and tell her I loved her before any of that happened. And it was just like, if there were a way for me to lose her at the age that I lost her when I was 25, at least I got to say those things, because I had lost other people where I wasn't able to say anything to them. That was the most ideal situation.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe to this day that the reason that she flatlined when they did that was because if they had put her in a coma, I think she wouldn't have come out of it, and I would have been left with the decision of whether or not she needed
didn't
to
want
live
you
or
to
die.
have to do that.
Yeah, and I just think that wasn't. I would have been that person that would have a hospital bed put in my house.
Yeah.
So I think it was just the right way for it to happen. Obviously,
If there could have been.
yeah, it's not something that I would wish on anybody, because it was terrible, and it just still. I'm the only child in my family, so all of my cousins have other family members, and one set of my cousins have lost a parent, but they have each other, and it's
just
different.
by yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you were to say, do you have any grief that you haven't healed from yet, it would probably be that. Yeah, that's what I would say. Is I don't think there's any amount of work that you could do on yourself. And I don't know if it gets different if you lose a parent when you're older.
Yeah, I was thinking how the difference is. But I don't think that, because when my grandma passed away, my mom devastated. She was there every day helping do things. So I think I don't think you can't measure grief. That's the thing, is everybody's affected differently, and
yeah,
it just depends on what else is in your life and what age you are. And maybe, not that you become numb to it, but maybe because I am such a feeler, like, instead of, if I had been just exposed to more death, would it have been a different response? Because this wasn't the first person in my life to die. So
I think that's absolutely a thing.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that drew me to my husband was that he had lost a parent, because I had been married to other people in between who had not lost a parent, and they just did not know how to handle.
Yeah. And that's one of my really good friends. Her mom passed away unexpectedly, and this was before her wedding. We were in our early 30s, like,
yeah.
And so this was the second friend's parent of mine to pass, but literally like the fifth death in my life. And I don't know how to support my friend, like, other than say I'm here for you. So I
Yeah.
think, that it's hard to think, like, nobody gets it unless they've gone through it. And that's why you get along with your husband. Not
Yeah.
in all aspects, but you have that. Did his parent pass away when he was around the same age as you, or?
No, he was lucky. He got his dad for 10 more years than I got my mom for.
Oh.
But he too is impacted as much as I was, if not. Maybe I think sometimes I feel like more than me. Sometimes I find myself thinking, gosh, like he's carrying this weight extra heavy today versus maybe what weight I carried at that long of a distance from grieving, if that makes sense. When I was at 4 years or whatever, it wasn't that heavy on me. But I think he has been incredibly fortunate in not having so many people in his life die.
Yeah.
Like up to his dad, he had lost his grandparents.
Yeah. And I think that's where I'm at. And it's interesting because and it's that's so saying I'm not like God gives us what you can handle, but maybe that's it. Like not that it affects us differently, but we just can't handle it. Like I know I think I've hit my cap. Like I can't.
But I think
not that you deserve to have it happen to you more. It just affects us in different ways. And so like he's grieving longer than you were and at that time or that kind of thing. So it's everybody just handles it differently.
And it truly is like about your circumstances, what's happening in your life at the time. Like when my mom died, I got 7 months to grieve her. And then my husband asked for a divorce.
Oh my God.
So I think that now I'm feeling some of the grief that I probably would have processed through had
but
that
just
not
more
happened.
Trauma happened over and over. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But I do think that like your level of grief that you carry and the way that you process it is definitely impacted by the amount of loss that you've experienced, because the more people you lose, you learn that you can put the situation in a box and have your time to grieve, and then you just unfortunately you have to move on,
close the box up, put it on a shelf and be done.
Then, like you could take it down to look at it during certain times of life or whatever, but you unfortunately have to just keep moving to the next person, the next situation.
Wow. That's interesting because a year and a half ago we lost my sister-in-law and they were married, knew each other for total like 2-3 years, not a long time, but like the most in love you could ever imagine, two people. And Colin had to make the decision, and I think that adds another level to everything going on. But anyways, it's been a while. And as family members, like we loved Jessica, she was a part of the family. She fit in. It was perfect. And she was great. But we've done the work, or we've learned to process to move on. And we have such hard days when my brother Colin is like, I really miss Jessica today. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love you, but I can't support you anymore. Or you just get tired. And I went through something too. And I've moved on. Why haven't you? But when it's you as the griever, it's way different than even like me grieving as well. And the process is just so different.
When I used to do suicide survivor support groups, we used to talk about like when you're feeling suicidal, it's like you're walking out into an ocean, and it's okay that when you're just starting to get depressed, the waves are getting heavy and they shift you and move you around a little bit, but you have the strength to keep going. And then a bigger wave comes and a bigger wave comes, and then pretty soon like you're to the point where you can't pull your head up out of the water anymore. And that's where people are when they become suicidal. And
it's a really good analogy.
I think it's the same way with grief. I think that it's the same principle, because like there's days where you can stand there, but you feel the movement or the weight of that person not being there anymore.
Yeah.
And then there's days where it just like completely overtakes you and you don't have the wherewithal to even put your feet on the ground and you're just a couple inches deep. I
Yeah.
think that's the way that grief operates in your life. And the biggest thing that we do to ourselves when we're grieving in humanity is we give ourselves, when somebody dies in your life, you automatically in your head assign a time that you're allowed to grieve for that person.
Really?
And so like you think, okay, so I was thinking it's my mom. I'm going to grieve for her every fucking day for the rest of my fucking life. And that's just as bad as being like, oh, this is my friend that I haven't talked to for 20 years. I'm only allowed to grieve for a couple days before it becomes like,
get over it. Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you don't remember when you're assigning those time frames, like how deeply woven people are into the fabric of your existence.
Oh, I just got goosebumps thinking about it.
So if that was really truly your first friend, then that established what you think of friends or what you look for in friends. Yes. So that grief isn't just going to be 1 second. It's going to be like, oh, I'm making a new friend. Oh, remember when, you know.
Oh my gosh, you're like my therapist right now. This is, and I had a therapy session on this, and this is just interesting. But I think you just, and I hate that it's like you're so wise in this because that's just not fair.
It sucks, but like I said, I think that the only way that I don't reside in the space of, oh, woe is me, I can't believe this has happened to me this many times, or that I've had to live in this space for so long. I think that I have I don't want to call it a talent because that sounds fucked up, but I like to speak to people. I like to share the stories of my cousin's been gone for 21 years, but the story still resonates because it's something that's so common, something that people do have to deal with, and that teenagers do feel those feelings even still, and probably on a bigger, not even on a micro level anymore. I think it's on the macro level that they feel that. So the stories still resonate, and it's an opportunity to share those things with people and help people. And as long as I can do that, I will, because I think that if I resided in a space where I didn't share my experiences from that, I think that I would just be like the saddest person that ever existed.
I think about my grandma, and I like talking about her, or when I think about her, I want to share it because I miss her and it brings me joy. I feel for the people who have like shame in death or are punished for thinking of, I'm sure there's cultures out there that person's dead, don't talk about them, don't think about them, you can't do anything.
That's how my family is.
See, even here, whereas it brings me joy and I want to share things about her. I'm sure I share the same things now because I'm not learning anything new, but I think that's a part of healing, and it should be celebrated, and not only healing for you, but like you're saying, healing for other people to talk about it, because it just mends a little bit in you.
And I think it like gives you I think the two things. One, it gives you the opportunity to allow them to still exist in your world. Like with my family, we don't talk about my mom, don't talk about my cousin, we don't talk about my grandpa, we don't talk about my uncle. It's just, we just act like they weren't here. And I think that makes it hard because my mom was 47 when she died. It's not like she was around to she did make a big impact. She volunteered a lot, and I think that I got that from her. She didn't get to leave a bigger print, and my family just shuts it down, and it makes me sad. But I think also probably the reason that I still struggle with her death is because I don't have an outlet like I do.
There's no support system.
I can go and share Matt's story and Sarah's story, and there's other people that have felt that, but there's nothing I could have done differently or any huge lesson or something that came out of my mom passing. It still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you want to be able to lean on the people who can tell you stories, who knew her, can talk about her, and you're just told no.
Yeah. So now the way that I handle my grief is I just really enjoy really bad humor about my mom being dead.
Oh.
My most favorite thing is when people say, "You're a mom," and I'm like, "Yeah, my mom's dead."
Oh,
Or
it's like really sad for the other person.
yeah, or I'll tell people that I'm gonna go clean my mom's house.
When you don't want to hang out with them.
No, like I go out to the cemetery
Oh,
and
you
clean
just
her
dust off.
headstone and
Oh, that's so cute
plant
though.
flowers.
It brings you joy, and I'm like, oh, I feel so bad.
Yeah, people don't know how to handle the jokes about my mom. I even have a jingle. I'm not going to sing it, but it's a Dead Mom Days jingle. So my mom died, and when I was growing up, there was this girl that lived down the street from us, and I had my best friend that lived down the street from us, and then we had a couple of other friends that just straggled down, but the two of us were super tight. But this girl, we hung out with her sometimes, and her mom was really cool. And then after my cousin died and I got involved in the suicide prevention agency, she was on the board there. So her and I got really close, and she became my mom after my mom passed away. And then she fucking died.
Oh no. Was she like older, or does this unexpected?
She had ovarian cancer, and she fought like hell. But she died the day after my mom's 10-year anniversary.
She's it's time. Mama, move over. Her new mama's in town.
This is bad, but I was like, I really wish that it would have happened on the same day. But so now I have dead mommy days. I have 2 days.
Oh, hence the jingle.
Yes, but people don't know how to quite handle that humor, and it's fine. I don't mind making people uncomfortable because it's the way that I cannot be sad about it. Because if I wasn't that way, I probably would just be sad all the time. I just make inappropriate jokes. And that's about it.
Okay, so what are like the biggest things if someone's like going through grief right now, like I am, in addition to therapy or talking to people about what
that
you're
I
feeling.
Would say you need to do.
Yeah, what do you recommend? Having so many deaths, and we didn't even touch on like half of them. But how do you not move on, but like how do you make it in that moment when I wish I could have just pulled it together to get through the day and be there for her? What would you say to me? Not that it will work, but in your experience, I'm just kidding. In your experience, like how can I help myself and help myself move on?
I think that so the one thing that people don't give themselves a lot of permission to feel when they're grieving is anger. And I think that's just something that like you feel is when you're supposed to be sad. Grief and anger don't often reside in the same space, or they don't exist when people think of them together. But sometimes you just get really mad. I got really fucking pissed at all 3 of them for dying and leaving me here. One night I busted a bunch of shit with a baseball bat, some wine bottles. God love my old roommate, because the very next day they were doing like a walkthrough.
No.
And I decided to check myself into psych care. So my roommate took care of it. God, I love her. But when I did suicide prevention or suicide survivor support groups, we also had an anger night where you just bust a bunch of shit. And I can't tell you like how powerful that is. If you've lost someone to suicide, that anger is part of your grief. It's proven in studies that you do feel anger at some point. And if you don't allow yourself to feel that, then the anger suddenly replaces the sadness of losing someone, and it just doesn't fit. So that would be my first thing.
Just smash things. I'm in.
Yes. And then I think finding something that makes you feel good, that helps you remember them. Not sitting there and forcing yourself to have memories of them if that's not where you're at, but just something that honors them and helps you feel better. So those are the 2 things.
I love that.
What are you going to do for yourself in this situation?
I think I'm going to keep talking about her. My husband and my family members, he asked me, what's your favorite memory? And I just went to 5 that I wanted to tell him. And so I think that helps talking about her. And my family knew her too, and they're suffering the loss. And so just being able to lean on them, I think, is what's going to help me get through this. And always going to therapy, talking it out. And I think, like you said at the beginning of this, also recognizing I do have so much going on in my life, and like maybe I subconsciously did have, why wasn't it me, or that could be me because of everything that's going on with me and the severity of my health. So I don't journal, but if I did, I feel like it'd start with Dear Diary in this one.
You wouldn't name. I used to have a name. I can't remember what it was, but it was like
a name for your diary.
Dear blah blah blah.
That's it's this cute. It's adorable that you named your diary, and I wish I knew I could have done that. Because I love naming inanimate objects now.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I think there's a movie actually where I saw that a girl did that. So it was an original.
Oh. I love it. Something I think in another episode that I would like to do is what I've been going through like these past, since I got diagnosed with endometriosis, so that would be 2023, is that you can, not only do you grieve people, but you grieve not things, but incidences or experiences, or there's all kinds of things that you can grieve.
Yeah.
And recognizing when you're going through that, in addition to grieving a person. And they're completely different. The process is maybe the same, but I would like to talk about that too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So.
Not today, Satan.
No. I think this was a very heavy episode to film right now. Do you have any self-care that you will be doing after talking about this? Or do you feel like this was healing for you?
This is so healing. Truth. Like, I'm pretty far along in my grief journey, so it's just like...
I'm sorry, but all I pictured when you said that was, like, skater shorts, like, with the Hawaiian print, and sunglasses, like, dude, I'm so far along in my journey. My bad.
Some days, like today, is fine. This is my grieving season. My cousin died in January. His fiance died in February. My mom's died in March.
Does the jingle, the dead mom's jingle, say dates? Because I could really, oh man, I just really want you to sing it. It's fine.
Dead mommy day. Dead mommy day.
That's just how it goes over and over.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have to work on that. I don't know if that's good or bad, but okay, so sorry, back to you're not doing shit because you feel fine.
I feel fine.
Okay. I'm proud of us. This was a big topic.
This is a big topic. All right, besties, that's all the emotional damage we can afford today.
Thank you for hanging out with us during this episode of Tipsy Talks with Jen and Coco.
If you laughed, cried, or suddenly remembered something you swore you healed from,
you're welcome.
Rate, review, subscribe, or just send it to your most unwell friend. And until next time, make good choices, or at least interesting ones.